Hi everyone, I want to remind you that as usual I would like your TLC, which is touch the subscribe button, like the video and comment. Thank you. Today I would like to discuss a bit about sociolinguistics. And the topic of sociolinguistics basically involves various subjects, including the influence of age and gender and religion, which we're going to discuss soon, and ethnicity and political power over language, and how the society, different aspects of society, influence language. We today are going to primarily, if not exclusively, focus on the issue of the influence of religion or faith on language. And there's various ways to approach this topic, and I would like to discuss a few issues. First of all, we have the issue of sacred languages. What is sacred languages? Basically, what I would like to claim is that most ancient languages had some kind of holy aspect about them. And if we will go to today, okay, in today's religions, and I'm just going to give a few examples. Pali is holy for Buddhists, okay, that's the original writings of the Buddha and so on, written. Sanskrit is holy, ancient Indian language. It's holy for first and foremost Hindus, but also Buddhists and Jainists. And the Hebrew language, and possibly also Aramaic, is holy for Jews, Samaritans, similar groups, and perhaps for some Christians. Of course, classical Arabic is holy for Muslims, whether they're Arabic speaking or not today. Koine Greek, the Greek the New Testament was written in. The Hellenistic Greek, if you will. That is holy till today to the Greek Orthodox Church and even to the Greek Catholic Church, also known as the Melkites. Latin, of course, important to the Roman Catholic world, and so on and so forth. So there's a concept where a language which was in antiquity and a religion developed there, and if it had a revelation or the ancient texts of its founders were written in it, it becomes holy and sacred. And often this language is either a language that's no longer spoken at all, let's say Sanskrit or Latin, we could say, or spoken in a different variety, meaning classical Greek. Koine Greek is very different than modern Greek, okay? And modern Hebrew is different than biblical Hebrew. And the spoken Arabic isn't the same as Quranic Arabic, okay? And that's because if it's a language spoken today, perhaps it's harder to make it so sacred and holy, because part of the aspect of sacred and holy is that often it's used in liturgy. Meaning when you go to the church or to the mosque or the temple or a synagogue, you are praying often or reading texts which are from the ancient times. So that is one aspect which is important to realize. That languages, often ancient languages in which religions developed and started developing, became within time sacred, holy. Okay? Either that's considered a language of revelation, that's a language of the texts, that's a language of liturgy, what you do in a praying house, and so on. But not only language can be sacred, you can also have a sacred alphabet. And what I mean by that? I mean that these languages were written, right? So once they were written, the text, meaning the type of alphabet they used, or language, sorry I'm using the word alphabet, the kind of script they used, because it doesn't have to be alphabetic, how to become sacred in itself. How can we see this? Well, let's take the idea of how the text, the script in which holy texts were written influenced the writing today. The Persian language is an Iranian language. It belongs to the Indo-European group. It means it's closer to English or German, theoretically, than it is, at least initially, to Arabic. Yet today, there's a lot of Arabic loanwords, and if we have time, we'll get to that. But its structure is Indo-European. It is not Arabic at all, which is a Semitic language. But still, you write Persian in the Arabic script. It's not identical, of course, but the Arabic script is the basic script used with Persian. Why? Because Iran is a Muslim country. It's probably predominantly Muslim country. The Shiites are not Sunnis like most Muslims, but that's relevant. They are clearly Muslim. Another example is Turkish. Turkish, again, is a language which is very far from Arabic initially. It's not a Semitic language at all, okay? It's a Turkic one, of course. But till the 20th century, 1926, okay, it was written in Arabic script because it was a Muslim. And when did it change to Latin script? When Ataturk came, Kemal Ataturk, and tried to circularize the country, to make the country, okay, no more, I don't want the Islamic religion to be the state, official state religion anymore. I don't want it to dominate all the society like it did in the Ottoman times and earlier. And when he did that circular revolution, then he said, okay, part of that is I'm getting rid of the Arabic script. So that shows more the connection of religion to script and not. There's many other examples. I don't want to get too much into it because I still want to mention a few other aspects. But for instance, Hindi and Urdu basically belong to the same language. Even has sometimes name because it comes from the same language and from the same dialect of the same language. Okay? Sometimes they call it Hindu-Urdu, sometimes it's called. But it has ancient names. The main difference between them is that Urdu is used in Pakistan by the Muslims, Pakistani Muslims, who write it in Arabic-based script. And Hindi, the language is Hindi. Hindu is the religion, Hindi is the language. Hindi is written almost the same words as Urdu, but in a script, an Indian script. So we see that that's a big aspect of it. Oh, and the last example is Jewish languages. Many places around the world where Jews were, they spoke a language very similar to the people, but they had their own Jewish variation of it. For instance, Jewish German, later known to know as Yiddish, which literally means Jewish. Or Jewish Spanish, later known as Ladino or Judesmo, Khatakiye, which is similar, or Españolite. But whatever its name, it's Judeo-Spanish. And there was a Judeo-Greek and Judeo-Arabic. Not all languages had, by the way, a Judeo version. We never speak about Judeo-English. Why? Because it's not enough to have loan words from Hebrew. It's more than that. It's in all those Jewish languages to be a Jewish language, to be Yiddish. What's the main difference between Yiddish and German? Initially, it's German written in Hebrew script. Okay? And originally, Ladino or Judesmo is Spanish written in Hebrew script. Yes, there's some loan words from Hebrew, but that's not the main aspect. The main aspect is the fact that it's written in a script, a Jewish script, a Hebrew script. So we see the influence of the alphabet. I'll give another example and then I'll try to summarize what we're saying here because I don't want to make this video too long. If we look at the Christian denomination, first maybe we'll discuss Western Europe. In Western Europe, we have North versus South. And the South speak Latin languages. When I South, I mean Italy, Spain, Portugal, and France. These are four of the main Romance languages, okay, Latin-based languages. Romanian also is, but that's further east. I'm discussing here. In the north, we have Germanic languages. We'll include also English in it at the moment, although English is somewhere in between, and we'll see that. But German, Dutch, okay, Norwegian, Danish, Swedish. And you see it in the Germanic-speaking languages, they're predominantly Protestant, and the Roman-speaking languages, the Romance-speaking languages, are predominantly Catholic, at least traditionally. There's a lot of secularization today in Europe. And that's an interesting aspect. Now, here I'm going to add there are variations. Austria is traditionally predominantly Catholic, and Switzerland is somewhere between the southern Germany. But I think in general we see that where the influence of the Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire was, and the Catholics became Catholic, and where there's influence of originally what we call the Holy Roman Empire later, which was actually Germanic, there's a big influence of Reformation, mainly of Martin Luther, also of Calvin, and most of them are Lutherans or Calvinists and others. And I'd say the UK is somewhere in between. UK is a Germanic language with huge influence from Latin and French, about 40% of vocabulary and so on. And really England, while it's considered Protestant, the Anglican Church, the Church of England, it sort of has a big part, which is what they call the High Church, right? Which is more Catholic, seemingly. So UK is somewhere in between, between German and Latin, and between Protestant and Catholic, even though clearly more towards a Protestant and Germanic kind of style. And if we go to the East, we see that there, in Orthodox churches, most Orthodox churches don't even use the Latin alphabet. No, it's not, right? And somewhere like Polish, okay? Polish is a Slavic language, like Russian. But it's not written like a Russian, you write with the Cyrillic alphabet, which is similar to the Greek one. Because both Greek and Russian, there's the Greek Orthodox Church, there's a Russian Orthodox Church, there's Orthodox Church, and they use the Greek-based or Cyrillic alphabet. But somewhere like Poland, which is a Slavic language, uses the Latin alphabet because it's also Catholic. So the Catholic and Protestant use the Latin alphabet. The Orthodox Church often uses, the Slavic Church often uses a Cyrillic-based alphabet. So we're back to that idea. So to summarize, we see the idea of faith and language is very much intertwined. Ancient languages that helped form religions often became sacred and holy languages, used in liturgy and other things. The alphabet of the Holy Tongue often influenced, for instance, Muslims or Jews to continue that script, even in languages that are far away from the original Arabic, Hebrew, and so on. And in the Christian world, we can see that not only alphabet, but also the languages are also intertwined within the differences within the different denominations. I hope this made sense. There's a lot to take in here. I didn't want to make the video too long. And hopefully we'll revisit this and summarize it even better some other time. Thank you very much for listening and sticking to this video. I'm reminding you to please touch the subscribe button, like, and comment. TLC. Thank you very much.